I have my
Yes, we are
screen
recording.
share. Okay, but you see my screen? Do you see?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, now.
Yes, we can see perfectly. Thank you, Yvonne.
Okay. Good morning. We are going to address the second session of the seminar lectures for automated extraction of data. And now we are going to see how can we get data from a web page, okay? Specifically, we are going to see how to get the links that are in a web page, but we can do similar analysis or extraction of other part of the web page, such as prices or terms, some specific terms, and so on. Okay, so we can open the file that is the web links extraction notebook. Okay, and we can start importing the libraries that we are going to use. Your lib, beautiful soup, and SSL. Okay. And we are going to run this code just to ignore some certificate errors. This certificate is a certificate that digital web pages requires for encrypting the data and so on, but just a technical issue. Okay. And in order to, we are going to use the HTTPS handler in order to make the connection to the web page, okay? And we are going to define a web page. In our case, I am selected the web page of our university, the Basque University, but you can use the web page you want, okay? And we are going to gather the HTML code running this command, okay, that open the web page and read the web page and gather the HTML code, okay? And what we get is this I don't know how to say, this churro of data, okay? And this is an HTML file, okay? And as you know, HTML file, you can look for questions or for different doubts that you have. You can consult this web page, the W3 School, okay? And here are interesting information relating different formats, okay? For instance, HTML format, and you can see which is the structure, okay, of an HTML code. And the structure is like this with markups. That's why it is called hypertext markup language. It is the meaning of the HTML, okay? And you can see that we have different markups for different parts of the web page: the head, title, body, and the text paragraphs. Links is when the markup A, etc. Okay, so doing or filtering this file code by these markups, okay, we can filter or gather the specific data that we are looking for, okay. And so, for instance, in our case, what we are going to do is we are going to parse this code, this text, okay, this HTML text. We are going to parse in different parts, okay. And this beautiful soup, the library Beautiful Soup, knows how to parse the HTML code, okay. So now once the code of this text is already parsed like this, no, like this, different, taking into account the different labels and the different markups. Now we can filter by these tags, okay. So which is the markup that related to a link, okay, to a web page, to a link, it is the A markup, okay, A markup, and then following href label. So running this code, we can get directly which are the different links that are addressed in the web page, okay. In order to get this data, we can run this code and we can use the toExcel method, okay. And just so if you go to the folder where we have the notebook, you have here the links file. And you have here every link that appears in the web page, the main web page, okay. If we want to gather data from another web page of the university, we have to specify which is this address, okay. Okay, what more we can do? Just running this cell, we gather the HTML code like this, okay. But we have, maybe we can get which how many times appear the news term, okay. For example, if we want to search in a web page for a a specific term in for instance, news, we can run this and see if there is or no any term, any news term in the web page. Okay, then we can also gather, for example, the title of the web page. In this case, the title is the University of the Basque Country. Okay, and then we can also get the, for instance, strings that contains a substring, no? Okay, and for this, for search terms that contains a substring, we have to use the RE library. Okay, so we import this library, and then we can run this code, and with please search for strings that have the link substring. Okay, so in the web page appears LinkedIn. Okay, and there is the string that appears in this web page. Okay, and running this code, we can get just how many times appear the term news. Okay, and we can gather the data, for instance, for different other markups. For instance, for the P markup, that it's every paragraph of the, okay, gather every paragraph of the web page, okay, or etc. Okay, we can do this kind of things. At the end, we can use the markups of the HTML code to filter the text that we want to gather, and also we can find inside the HTML code by specific terms or by substrings of one term. Okay, and this is the example of the web links extraction. Okay, it's more basic, a more basic example, but I think that it's interesting to know also how to get this kind of data directly from a web page. Okay, as I said before, it would be interesting, for instance, to get prices data from a web page. Okay, and you can get which are the prices data, and of course the interesting thing is to monitor these prices and to see if they are changing or how they are changing, and so on. Okay, so if you don't have any question to this example, we are going to the other case study, that would be the Eurostat API. Okay, so if you have any question, please. Okay, so I think that it's a quite basic example.
If I may, maybe a case, maybe an example. I think that this analysis is very, very useful to analyze companies. For instance, if you want to get to know what type of environmental policy they are implementing, or what type of labor market policy they are implementing, or whatsoever, and it is published in the website, maybe you can analyze the website and get this information in a very efficient time. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's in order to gather the competence the competence or data, which products they have in their web page, and which are the prices, or which other information that they could publish in the web pages. I think that it's a very interesting tool. Okay, absolutely. But for that, also we'll need to maybe it is another step. Okay, this is a first introduction, a quite basic example, but for gather data, okay, this kind of data, and it must be a development, an important development, okay, a programming development. Okay, so
thank you so much, Yvonne, for this useful tool.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are going to see the next case study. Okay, so the next study is the case study is the REST API, and you can go
Excuse
to
me, can you explain first what is the Eurostat for the non-European partners, please? Thank you.
Okay, of course. Eurostat is the statistic institution or organization from the European Commission or European Community that gather data for all the countries of the European Community. But it is an example. Every country has its own statistic institute or organization, and in most of the countries nowadays they have also an API, and you can gather the data from these statistics institutions. Okay, so the first in this case study, we are going to make queries to the Eurostat API. So in order to make queries, we have to understand which is the structure of the API, Eurostat API. Okay, so for that you can go to the web page of the Eurostat API. Okay, that is this one, and here you have the explanation of which is the structure of the query. Okay, so you have here with the host URL, then which is the service, the version, the response type, which kind of response type, the dataset code, okay, the format parameter, the language parameter, and the filters that we are applying. Okay, and this is the query that we have to build firstly, and for make the request to the API. Okay, so let's go and okay, so we have which are these different parts. Okay, in order to building the query. Okay, we have to define the hosted server, that is this link. Okay, we have here the Eurostat URL service. This is this link. Okay, then we have to know.
Excuse me,
yes.
Ivan. What are you looking for in the Eurostat, if I may?
Okay, yes, of course. We are going to analyze the science investments in Europe. Okay, we are going to use this indicator for this example. Okay. Yes, it's important to say firstly. Okay, and for this there is a tool. This you have here the link to the query builder. Okay, so you can go to this link to this query builder of the Eurostat API, and you can ask for this is a wizard, okay, that helps you building the query. Okay, so firstly we have to know which is the code of the indicator that we want to gather. Okay, so for that we must to go to the Eurostat data browser. Okay, but it's here. I'm going to, and we have to choose which indicator do we want to gather. Okay, so I am going to also okay, so our indicator is here in the Science, Technology, Digital Society tree or branch under Science and Technology and under Research and Development. And we have here the gross domestic expenditure, okay, on research and development by a national and regional level, okay. And we can gather this indicator by sector or performance, okay, or by sector or performance, and we are going to gather the first one. We're going to gather this indicator, okay, that is this first one, okay. So we get the code, copy the code, go to the query by builder, and next, okay. And now the query builder asks which unit of measure we are going to use. We can gather this indicator in different units, and for instance, we are going to use the euro per inhabitant unit, okay? And we are going to select this one, and we have to select also which is the sector of performance. For instance, we are going to analyze also the public investments in the government sector, okay? In this, so we generate, and we have this already, this query, okay? So in order to gather the data from Eurostat, we have to, we can diagonally, if you, in your browser, you introduce this, you gather the data already, okay? In a, like a JSON or like a, but what we are going to do now is to do this automatically, okay? So we are going to build this query automatically, defining the service, the indicator. We should know which is the code of the indicator. We have to define also which is frequency, the frequency of the data, if it's annually, monthly, etc. Okay, so we have to define this parameter also, and the unit we want, that is the euro per inhabitant. Okay, and the sector of performance, that is the government sector. Okay. Okay. Once we have defined these parameters, we build the query just as taking into account the structure we see before. Okay, we know how is the structure, and just we are copy and pasting these different parts, okay, in a unique query, and then we run the query, running this code, and we get a response of 200. Okay. Okay. As we see, at this moment, what we have gathered is this file. Okay, it's what we have at this moment in the code, and what we have to do now is to analyze, to gather this JSON code and parsing and this code also. Okay, so now we have here the JSON code. Okay, in order to know how a JSON file structure is, you can go again to this website, to the W3 Schools website, and you can see here how a JSON file looks like. Okay, and here it's also a mark, an object notation, and it has also different labels. Okay, for instance, in this example, we have 3 labels, name, age, and car, and each one have a value. Okay, its label or its parameter has a value. Okay, so we have to understand, we have to analyze which are the labels that Eurostat JSONs has. Okay, which are the different how looks like this JSON file for Eurostat. Okay, and if you analyze this file, you can find that there are different levels, like dimension, geo, category, level, index. Okay, so we are going to make use of these labels to extract the data in a more suitable format. Okay, and if we run this code, we are going to get this data. Okay, that we have the country or país and the value of each country in millions of investment per habitant, millions, or I don't. sorry, it is euros, sorry, euros per which is the euros per inhabitants, okay, for each country, okay, and now it's more readable, okay. So we have to, from this file, we have to extract a more readable data table or dictionary or list of data, such as you can see here, okay? And then we can visualize in a better way, also, for instance, in a table, okay? In a table like this. As you can see, appear also some countries like China and United States. It's just to make comparatives to main world countries, okay? There are 44 different country or locations, okay? So there are 27 countries plus and other interesting areas or wider areas such as the whole Europe, the whole world, the whole different Asia, and etc. Okay, and then what we can do is to save this data into a file directly. Okay, like this, we have already this data, and also we can make some descriptive analysis and further analysis. For instance, here we can plot the different by country, okay? The different investment by country, okay? In this, there is here somewhere a pitfall, because if you realize, doesn't appear here all the countries, and now I don't know why, but I am going to check. But sometimes, and this, what happens with this kind of APIs, the APIs periodically change the structure, or they change some little things, and if they change a comma, or just introduce a new term, a new parameter, for instance, or etc., maybe the programming that you have developed before doesn't work the same as before. Okay, so you have to start, or you have to update this program also again. Okay, and it's one of the challenge of APIs programming. Okay, that usually very periodically they change different things, and you have to update the programs. Okay, it happens also with pages. Okay, there are pages that are more dynamics and other ones that are more fixed, but for instance, there are updatings of these web pages, and of course, if you develop a program or a script in order to extract data from this web page in 5 years ago, maybe the script doesn't work, or doesn't work as the same as before for now nowadays. Okay, so it is an issue to take into account. Okay, and then after Well, I think that we have already gathered the data and saved the data. Okay, and this is the example that we have. So I don't know if you have any question related to this example.
This is excellent, Yvonne. It is, as I mentioned before, the synergies with the presentation held yesterday by Merlin and the presentation held by Baksis the day before yesterday. We clearly see the synergies with your research field. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Very useful. Very
Thank
useful.
You.
Very useful.
Thank you, Beatriz. Thank you, Beatriz. So if you don't have any more question, I think that we can stop here the session and we can start the next.
Maybe,
because the next,
yes.
The next
maybe
two
we can
cases,
have a 10 minutes break.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the next two case studies are related to news, and maybe we can see both cases together. Okay.
So maybe we can stop here and have a 10 minutes break. We can start at 11 o'clock Spanish time, if I may.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
See
so
you.
much, Yvonne,
Thank you.
for this very, very useful presentation. As we can see, the research field, the future research field in connection with coding for data science. So thank you so much, Yvonne.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you in 10 minutes.